2. Welcome back. It's around here, and, it's been a big week. We got the Orioles, new management. We got the Ravens hanging in. We got pumpkin pie, and I'm going to have a little mincemeat pie to honor my mom. But this weekend, we got some music happening around here, and anytime I get the opportunity to interview the myths and the legends who perform on the stages, I like to take that opportunity. When the opportunity to talk to Livingston Taylor came my way, I jumped at it, not just because I once spent an afternoon on a golf course with his niece, Sally, who was just one of the really cool people that I've ever hung out with for an afternoon at a charity golf event, and I also rode in an elevator with his brother, James Taylor, one time. I had fish that I was afraid was going to spoil. Liv, I'm just getting you on the phone, man. Livingston Taylor joins us here. He'll be at RamsHead down in Annapolis playing beautiful music on Saturday night on the back end of a holiday. And I know you're teaching the young people up there at Berkeley, but you still love getting out performing, don't you?
I love playing, Nestor. First, it's a great pleasure to speak with you, and I'm delighted that you were able to spend time with my beautiful niece, Sally. She's fantastic. It's great to hear your voice. Listen, that RamsHead show, I think, is a matinee show. I don't think that's an evening show.
Okay.
I think it's an afternoon show, and I wanted to, now maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't think that
I'm going to get everything right about that before we get further on. The doors are at noon, and the show is at 1, and it is a matinee show, and if you show up on Saturday night, you're going to miss it.
That's right. No, if you show up Saturday night, you'll have to just hang out until I show up again.
Well, this makes the leftovers even better because it's more like a brunch performance for you on a Saturday, right?
Yeah, it's really. I've played the RamsHead, of course. Actually, I was the first person to play the RamsHead, but I played it for many years. And this is the first time that I've done a matinee there. But a matinee is so civilized. Cannot wait.
Tell me about where you are in your life right now, because when it came to me, everyone knows about your brother. Everyone knows who you are, and you can go back through the time. But I see that you're teaching, and you took a different path than maybe your brother or other family members. And I know you're close with your former sister-in-law, Carly Simon. We love her music too. We love all that music, right? Which is why we love you and have you on the program. But you went into education, and I remember many years ago seeing Billy Joel, like 25 years ago, doing a tour of colleges and the history of music and the sources and lyrics and trying to teach other people how to do it. It's fascinating that people that lead their lives to that, because you've done that for 2 decades now, right?
Yeah, I've been teaching for 29 years, so crowding 3 decades. But the thing that's so wonderful about teaching, first off, I teach 2 days a week. And so I've got plenty of time to go play, and I play a lot. And the thing that I really love is I love being around my students, and to teach it means that you really, it really teaches me actually how to do it and how technically, the course I teach is called stage performance. And it really teaches me so much over the years about how to be on stage, what's important, how do you take your creativity, your vision, and then interface that with an audience. And I got to tell you, it's been a wonderful ride. No, I've enjoyed my teaching very much. And I like teaching them, but above all else, what I really get is what they teach me. Boy, I get a lot of information from my students.
When you've been at this as long as you've been at it now, and your brother's had a different pathway with shows and concerts and stages, that you've had more sort of air in your career and being able to play with different people in different formats, and maybe explore a little bit as well. I find it fascinating. So many musicians that I admire, right? Like the U2s or the Rushes or these bands, and if you're into rock music of that era as I am, bands break up, relationships and all that stuff. And yet there's so many people that are more of a troubadour era where, you have Linda Ronstadt and Jimmy Buffett and members of the Eagles, and it's all sorts of people. That California thing was a little bit more collaborative in the old days, where everybody sort of jammed with everybody, right? And that became a lifetime time of doing that, as opposed to sort of the business of being in a band and making a brand and having the Rolling Stones still be able to do it 50 years later as a brand, right?
Yes. And it's certainly my beautiful brother James, he would be a brand. My own, for me, I love the adventure of doing all sorts of different things. And yeah, I have to tell you, Nestor, I am most satisfied with the career I've been able to have. And it continues, and the adventure continues.
And the adventure will continue at 1 o'clock on Saturday down at RamsHead. I love the intimacy of that place. And when I think of you and your music and the way you present it, it's almost like a perfect room, right? There's a size about it, right?
The RamsHead is a perfect venue for me, absolutely.
Well, you get the FaceTime with everybody in the audience, and there's some real interaction there. And I've gotten to see so many legends down there, because it's been such a successful place for music as a vocation and not just as an art form, as something we love and we take to heart and we listen to, and it brings pieces of our lives together. But as a vocation to go do it for a living, these folks, and one of my dear friends has a daughter, beautiful daughter, who's a student at Berkeley. I don't know if she's one of your students, but she's fantastic. She's miraculous. Every time I see her on Facebook, I think that. And I think about how many of those kind of 17, 18, 19-year-old people that you come in contact with, and their goal is just to make a living. Their goal is not to be Bono, right? Or your brother, for that matter, right? But just to make a living.
I think that the people who come to the Berklee College of Music are very curious to explore whether they have a vision that can be of value and of service to their peer group, and some do, but again, for the course that I teach on stage performance, you always have to, regardless of what you do with your life, you're going to need to be able to present your vision clearly and directly, and yep. That's what we do.
Livingston Taylor. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nope, that was it.
Yeah, let me ask you about this. I have I did a lot of research for this conversation because I'm interested and I'm always fascinated when I do a deeper dive on any musician I talk to, or any celebrity athlete or whatever, how much there is to unfold. But all the teaching you've done, when you watch an American Idol or you watch something like that, and I guess over the last 20 years we're all familiar with the competition, but there is something about learning when I've watched those kind of shows about the pressure, the art form, the coaching, the getting better. And I'm in the sports space, right? So I've been doing sports radio 30 years. And when we see a raw quarterback, to say, well, we're not judging him on where he is today. We're judging him on where he's going. I would think the same thing would be true for you when you get these incredibly talented young people, but to try to figure out where they go from where they are to where you are now, and how much you've learned over 50 years to become a better craftsperson at your craft, whatever your craft might be.
Yeah. Well, above all else, my students are going to need an audience. As I'm fond of telling them, you need the audience. They do not need you. This is your vision. This is something that you wanted to do, and so very important that that my students understand the value of an audience and how crucial that it is their audience that's going to ultimately support and finance this vision. And, yep, they've got to be taken care of.
Livingston Taylor is our guest. He will be at RamsHead on the stage in Annapolis right around 1 o'clock on Saturday for a matinee in beautiful Annapolis. No better place to spend a holiday weekend than a Saturday down there in Annapolis with Livingston. I wrote a bunch of questions and I went through stuff, but more than anything at this point in your life, and I saw your brother performing at Fenway Park, right, doing the national anthem, Red Sox. It feels like the Red Sox, the Patriots, the Celtics, the Bruins, somebody's always in it. You're there. You live amongst it, sports and Carolina and all that stuff. But you celebrated your 50th year last year, right, in entertaining people and getting around. What still jazzes you up about getting on a stage at 1 o'clock and coming down to Annapolis on a holiday weekend?
What really jazzes me is that I love my audience so much. I need them. I need to be in their presence. I love the fact that I get to see them, to visit with them, to show them new things I've been doing, things I've been thinking about, to tell them in word and deed how valuable they are to me and how precious they are to me. And it's for many of the people who come to see me, they've seen me 6 or 8 or 10 times. And so it's a very close relationship.
And I think it's also one for a lifetime, right? I know John Mayer always says, let's spend a lifetime together or something like that to young people. My son's 34. He'll be a John Mayer fan for life. He's been a fan for 20 years. In much the same way, I went and saw Leonard Skinner last week, and I went and saw J.D. Souther down at RamsHead a couple of weeks ago, writing beautiful music like yourself, because I've spent my life with the songs, right? And
yeah.
I think that there is that, and the internet even brings that even closer, where I can go on the internet and read and know and learn and see and relive and be a part of all that gets me all. I never see a show without getting jazzed up and seeing what the artist is doing right now on the internet to know a little bit more. It's sort of like reading the outside cover of the book before you read the book, right? Yes,
I hadn't thought of it that way, Nestor, but that's a very good description.
Well, you're a little bit of a Kevin Bacon, right? I mean, you've touched so many people in the music. I mean, I went back. I had no idea of your roots with John Landau and, and obviously everything in the California era and the sound of the Ronstats and that all that came out of that. It's amazing how many people you've touched and writing and recollecting these stories. You got a lot to draw from when you're on a stage to be a storyteller as well as a songwriter, right?
At this point in my career, I've got a whole lot of... Hello?
Yeah, I think I'm losing you, Liv. Go ahead. Try it again.
Okay. I was just saying, Nestor, that I've got there are a whole lot of colors on that palette that I have, that I get to work with at this point in my career.
Well, don't come down here waving that Red Sox World Championship banner one more time.
No, I'm going to. The young people around here don't understand that the last 15 years in Boston sports has been unusually productive. We've had a nice run up here.
I know you have.
And the fact is that it will probably fade, but it was sure nice to have it while it was here.
As long as they didn't catch Brady while he was cheating. Anything that happens afterward, they don't have to worry about that, Liv. Hey, take care of yourself. It was really nice to visit with you. We hope to see you 1 o'clock for the matinee show on Saturday, on the holiday weekend this Saturday, down at RamsHead in Annapolis, and I know you enjoy it so much down there. Have yourself a great little holiday here on Thanksgiving. Bring me some leftover pumpkin pie from up there north, all right?
I will indeed, Nestor, and thank you so much for taking time with me. I'm really, really honored. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Bring me a lobster pie after you're coming down from Boston. Liv Taylor joins us, Livingston Taylor. His show's at RamsHead. It is an early show on Saturday. It's at 1 o'clock. 51 years of performing. Was recently honored by the Boston Mayor Marty Walsh and Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker. They declared last January 18th of 2017 Livingston Taylor Day in Boston. Safe Home marks his 16th album release, and he has been teaching for 29 years now, going on 29 years at Berklee College of Music. And incredible students include Gavin DeGraw, John Mayer, and Susan Tedeschi. Tedeschi Trucks Band. Yeah, now you get me jamming, Liv. You find him down at Annapolis at RamsHead, and the folks down there do such a great job. And I went down to see J.D. Souther a couple weeks ago, blew my mind. So I love the music. I love the stage down there at RamsHead in Annapolis. Big shout out to them, and thanks for providing Livingston Livingston Taylor for a cool conversation. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. You can find everything we're doing around here with the Ravens and the Orioles and the Terps and getting ready for the Raiders and Mike Elias. All that's up in the buyatoyota.com audio vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.